Lost Hopes, The Dark Disaster of a Dream for Wealth, Part 1. Hello, Magic Verse followers. Today we're sharing a true story with you. Some of the characters in this story are still alive, so we won't use real names or mention the exact locations. These events took place in a village with a long and mysterious history. If you're ready, let's dive into this intriguing journey. This is the story of 5 brothers. Their father had passed away, and the 5 brothers worked hard to make a living in their village, taking on tasks like livestock farming and construction work. The bond between them was truly admirable. Always protecting and supporting each other, these brothers made a discovery one day that could change their lives forever. 2 of the brothers were grazing their livestock on a hillside covered with half-forest overlooking a stream. While they were there, they noticed a small hollow between some rocks. At first, it looked like nothing more than a small hole, but as they approached, they realized it was the entrance to a cave. The darkness inside the cave was a little intimidating, but it also sparked their curiosity. It seemed like nobody else had discovered this place, and the mysterious cave might even be untouched. That evening, they returned home and told their other brothers about what they had found. Together, they discussed the situation. They had heard stories from their father and grandfather that the area was an ancient settlement, with great treasures from old tribes hidden in places like this. Was this cave one of those places? They had heard similar tales before, which only fueled their interest further. The brothers decided they wanted to explore the cave, but they had to do it secretly. Official permits were needed for such an excavation, but they didn't want to apply for anything like that yet. They wanted to keep it hidden from both the villagers and the authorities. After all, there might be nothing there, and all their efforts could be in vain. So they decided it was best not to arouse any suspicion. At first, the plan seemed innocent and reasonable. The next day, all 5 brothers returned to the cave with only a few basic tools. As they entered, they noticed that the cave floor was covered in a thick layer of sand, specifically sea sand. Scattered among the sand were pig bones. This was a big surprise to them, considering how far they were from the sea. What was all this sand and these bones doing here? It seemed that this could be some kind of ancient ritual site. This mystery made them even more determined to continue their exploration. The brothers wanted to go deeper into the cave, but the sand was so thick that it made moving forward almost impossible. They decided they had to clear the sand out of the way. All 5 of them started working to move as much of the sand outside as they could. However, it was getting late and the sky was growing darker. Michael looked at his brothers and said, "That's enough for today." He was tired but hopeful. Jack and the other brothers nodded in agreement. Since they had other responsibilities the next day, they decided to leave for now before tiring themselves too much. As they exited the cave, one of them said, "Maybe tomorrow we'll discover even more." Each of them was determined to uncover whatever mysteries the cave held. Perhaps this was just the beginning, and maybe the cave held secrets far greater than they could imagine. With silent anticipation, they started their walk back to the village. As the brothers advanced in the cave, they encountered more sand, bones, and various symbols. These symbols seemed to be trying to convey a message to them. With each discovery amidst the sand and bones, their belief in finding a great treasure at the end of the cave grew even stronger. With this belief, they began spending almost all their time in the cave. During the day, they worked in the village, and at night they continued digging in the cave. However, every hour they spent in the cave seemed to weigh on them like a curse. Over time, the brothers began to have disturbing dreams at night. In these dreams, ancient figures, shadows, and strange symbols constantly urged them to go deeper into the cave. Waking up drenched in sweat, the brothers believed these dreams were signs of the great treasure hidden at the end of the cave. While these dreams made them more determined, they also led to an unusual silence among them. The brothers' behavior began to change. Once a source of joy and support for one another, they now seemed silent and restless. There was a deep exhaustion in their eyes and a cold determination on their faces. Michael said that he heard whispers from the cave at night in his sleep, whispers that seemed to command him. Jack, on the other hand, grew more withdrawn each day, constantly wondering how much deeper the cave went and when they would reach the treasure. It seemed as if each of them was hiding something from the others, The cave seemed to be calling to them, and it was impossible to resist this call. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. With each passing day, the brothers went deeper into the cave. The piles of sand and bones increased with every step, and they piled them near the entrance of the cave. By now, they had traveled miles inside the cave, but they could not know what awaited them at the end. One day, while they were working in the cave, all the lights suddenly went out. Darkness engulfed them, and they heard a strange rustling sound coming from the depths. For a moment, panic gripped the brothers, and their breaths quickened. As they tried to sense each other in the darkness, a cold wind blew, and with it came a thin whisper from the depths of the cave. "You will find us, but you will pay the price." Alex, one of the brothers, felt the whisper reverberate in his mind, as if it were speaking directly to him. His eyes were fixed in the darkness, as if staring at something invisible. His brothers tried to shake him out of it, but Alex remained still for a moment, as if in another realm. When he finally came to, his voice was shaky. "We must continue. This is only the beginning." Despite their fear, the brothers continued as if the cave had completely ensnared them. They knew there was no turning back. Once they had chosen this path, they were determined to go wherever this dark adventure would take them. To be continued,